Good morning. It's been a while since I made a video. Mark, a friend of mine, asked me to make a video because I hadn't done one in a while, and he asked me to do one on inspiration. I think maybe the reason I haven't done a video in a while is because I haven't had a whole lot of inspiration or felt very inspirational. But I'm trying to get that feeling back going again. I think I've been so busy. Finally started going back to the gym again, and these days I get to go. He's not looking now, my son. And finally get stuff that him and I click with. You know, he's getting into guns and shooting and working out and stuff that we can actually relate on, which is super cool, because I have a hard time doing that sometimes. So I think since the last time I made a video, I've finished my master's degree, and I'm getting ready to go take my exam for my license on the 1st of October, so that's going to be pretty cool. But I think as far as inspiration goes, one of the most inspirational things I think I have in my life is just having the ability to help people. You know, what keeps me going is watching people persevere and start to live good lives. Being able to make some of the changes, you know, that were really hard for me to make, and watch other people make the same hard changes. It's pretty cool. I've been let go from I don't even know, 7, 8 of the last probably 10 jobs for the rehabs that I work at, places that I thought felt like home, and then turned out to be more about money than they are about helping people. Well, the last place I got let go of put me on track to find the place I'm at now, which is really cool. The place I'm at now is probably the first place I've ever worked at that's genuinely about the people. I've seen them kick clients out just for saying inappropriate stuff. Just the one I'm thinking of in my mind right now is this kid said something sexually inappropriate to one of the women in the group, and we kicked him out on the spot. There was no questions asked. The owners, you know, they weren't having any of that. It's good. It's a good place to be. But I think the most inspirational part of being there is that they care about their staff as much as they do the clients. It's the only place I've ever worked at where they actually have a self-care day for the clinicians. So I only have to work 4 days a week. My 5th day is an on-call day in case something comes up that they need help with. That's pretty rare. It's pretty rare that they actually care about the population that they serve, and they go out of their way to individualize everything that happens. The people that I work with are all genuine. The clinicians, the housing director, even the case managers, pretty cool to work with. It's just a great team. Something I didn't really ever pay any attention to, that I heard one of the owners saying the other day. We were doing a luncheon, and I heard her telling one of the guys visiting that was coming to look at our facility that they'd been trying to hire me for a while, and every time that they would hear that I had got let go somewhere, that they tried to get a hold of me to get me to come work there. By the time they got a hold of me, I was already working somewhere else. That made me feel really good to hear that, to hear somebody say that. Like, she didn't, you know, say it like in earshot of me. It was across the room. I just happened to hear it because it was quiet. To think of going from the type of person I used to be to being able to get somebody to say something like that, and not to me, to say it to somebody else, it's pretty fucking awesome. It's a pretty good feeling. And I remember a friend of mine that used to work at the same company would reach out. I always thought it was kind of just a gesture from him. Hey, you know, you looking for a job still? I could ask, but apparently it was more than that. It was the owners asking him to ask me, or try and see if I was still available, because they wanted me to come work there, because they had heard about my story, who I was as a person, whatever, which makes me feel really good that I can have my own integrity and be that type of person, especially in this industry, and have people seek me out like that, especially when so many other places kind of let me go for being different, being individual, whatever, being transparent, speak my mind. I'm not, I'm a therapist. I'm not a fucking McDonald's salesman. I'm not here to upsell clients and get them to stay longer, or if they want to leave, I'm not here to talk them into staying. I'm there to facilitate their decisions and help them deal with the consequences, good or bad. And if they're making a poor decision, it's not my place to change it. I can give them all the information and support them. And if they want to leave or do something different or whatever, I'm not going to force somebody to try and stay. That's not what I do. And it's nice to be at a company where they also feel the same way and encourage that. So I'm working treatment center, plus I have 2 part-time jobs. I still get to go and do things. Yesterday I got to go with my wife on a motorcycle ride, which I don't think we've done ever together like that since we've been together. Most of the time she's watching the kids or at home, and I'm doing stuff like that on my own. And now we're to the point where the kids are old enough to watch the little ones sometimes, and we can trust that they're not going to kill each other while we're gone for a few hours. But yeah, so my motivation and my inspiration is really just everything going around me. When I feel like I'm not accomplishing much, when I step back and look, like I really am in a good place. School's done, multiple jobs, behind on bills, that's usual. But I have the ability to change that, the family to support me. And I work with some really incredible people. One of the things that I always try and tell people is to don't sweat the small stuff, because it's all small stuff, and in the big picture all that small stuff doesn't matter. But I also have to remember how important some of that small stuff is. And watching my kids at school, and all the kids, and the weight they have on their shoulders socially is incredible, and it's easy to overlook, and I do all the time, because I don't particularly put a lot of emphasis usually on what people say to me or what they do or how they react if somebody's shitty to me. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, that shows who they are, not me. That's usually something they got going on with them, not normally something I've done wrong. But if I don't ask that, and I'm not afraid to ask somebody that, I won't actually know. But a lot of people won't ask because they're afraid of the answer, which could be, yeah, I don't like you. I'm okay with that. Not everybody's going to like me. But watching these kids go through school and seeing all the social pressures they have coming from every direction, I have a tendency to write it off and minimize it. But that's a big deal for them. So watching them all struggle through that, like, that is part of my inspiration. Being able to step back and look at that, which I've been trying to do lately. Put myself in their shoes. Like, there is a big social issue with the weight that we put on people, and not just kids, like society as a whole. Especially like the whole man rules, and men are supposed to be stoic and all this shit. Like, who voted on those fucking rules? I didn't have a vote in that. Why am I going to follow that? I don't mind being emotional. I don't have to be stoic. I don't have to air my problems to everybody. But if somebody asks, like, I don't have to hide that stuff. I don't have to be that person today. Society doesn't dictate who the fuck I am. But it took me a long time to get to that point. I don't need society rules for the most part. I'm going to be me, whoever that is, and if society doesn't like that, that's whatever. Nobody can control who I am, and I don't have to worry about anybody else telling me who I need to be or control that unless they're at my front door making it an issue. Until that point comes, I'm just going to be me, with whatever that entails. So it's just trying to get back in the groove of all the stuff now that I actually have time without school, and finding that inspiration. Mark, like, you guys are inspirational to me, watching people change their lives and be successful and move on, and getting to see people on Facebook. And the friend I'm talking about right now, like, I see him on Facebook doing stuff occasionally, and I haven't actually seen him in person in a few years, and it's awesome to watch people from 5-6 years ago that I met struggle through life. And even when we fall down, like, seeing people fall down and get back up, like, that is so inspirational to me. Especially in the substance use world. Yesterday I went to a ride funeral memorial for a friend of mine that passed away, and seeing his wife and how much this is affecting her, and having her thank me for being there to support her. I don't feel like I did a whole lot, but the things that we talked about right after her husband passed, like, it meant a lot to her, and I didn't realize how important it was just to have somebody listen like that. Like, I didn't feel like I did much for her, but if you ask her, she'll tell you something different. Seeing people struggle in life and pass away and trying to move forward, and like, all that's hard. Watching people be able to do that stuff successfully is my inspiration. Seeing people be able to ask for help, not be afraid to ask for help, because society has made that such a hard thing to do. Asking for help is one of the biggest things that we need. We're not built to be by ourselves. We're built to lean on each other. What areas that I'm not strong in, somebody else is, and the areas that they're not strong, I might be, and we have to be able to lean on each other and know that it's okay to ask for help. But when you truly love people and you can do things for other people without any expectations, you're not looking for them to do something back for you, you're just there for them. Like, that's the pinnacle of life to me. It's being able to love somebody. I don't even have to know somebody to be able to do something for them without expecting anything in return. And I think that's the biggest part of where I try and live my life at, is wanting to be there to help other people without any expectations. And that's for me as much as for them, because that makes me feel good. It makes me feel like who I'm supposed to be. So anyways, I know kind of not really a real thorough video on much of stuff, but that's just kind of what's going on with me and how I've been finding inspiration lately, and watching the people around me grow, and that's been a big help. So hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I love you all.